And welcome back once again, Red Blur Gamers. So we are just finishing off the vespid sting wings. As you can see, they're pretty much all done. Touch-ups done, black coating done. I'm just about to go in with another lot of the grey Celestar grey base, just to try and make this stone, give it a grey basey colour, and that will allow for just getting the next thing done, which will be the rattling grime added to the stone itself, and then that will be all done. And I will be able to then move into putting the snow basing on, which I have done to the other 4. And then, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the end of these vespid. That will be 5 vespid done, another 65 points added to the army, and another unit complete, just getting us ever so slightly closer to that magical milestone of 2,000 points. And then, yeah, make life a little easier because stuff will be complete and I won't have to stress as much. I won't be stressing out making sure that it's all done. It will be all done, and that will be the end of it. So yeah, just trying to get through the last of this bit, just without really getting too far or deep. Yeah, once that's dry, we can obviously jump into the other stuff. So that we're just going to have a look at currently. Just going to jump back to a model I completed. And I'm going to attempt to do the same thing I've done here, which is going to be fun. Going to be real difficult, to be honest. But it's attempted to give a glow, kind of look like the engines have been running on the crisis suit. So just this guy here, I need to go in and get in there with my frost hearth. What's the colour I chose from memory? I may have to, but it looks like I'm going to have to run the paint shaker. Excuse the vibration. Just making sure that all the paint is definitely shook. As we get all the pigments off the bottom, I really should do the old ball bearing in there and really lift it all up, but I haven't got around to it. So I'm just gonna make sure that's had the shit shaken out of it to a degree, and pop it open. And we've got some small brushes around here. We might actually have to put goggles on too. There we go. Just to help get that extra. And as we did last time, we're just going to get this in. Maybe I didn't use this. This is a lot darker than lighter than what I'm looking at. As I highlighted with, I did definitely use something darker, but you know what, let's try Frost Earth this time. The point of this is getting this on the actual model without making too many errors and working our way around a singular engine at a bay at a time. So I just don't want to really go over the edge too much. But how are we all? How's our week been? What have we been up to? If you definitely like what I do, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've had a little bit of a slack patch there where I haven't quite gotten out as many videos as I was previously. I was doing the 5 a week, but for some reason currently, I seem to be smashing, when I upload a video, it seems to be smashing through our data on our internet plan, which is definitely on me, but also slightly annoying because it's not really what I was anticipating would happen. Wow. Hopefully that fixes the problem. Just got to be as careful as we can be because we're really not trying to get out of the lines per se. I really want this to try my best to make everything as clean and neat as possible. I know sometimes it doesn't really work. And if anyone is wondering, I'm using a very small brush for a reason. I've got a 4.0 at the moment, just feel more comfortable. Because it has been mentioned that maybe I need to get some cheap brushes, and I appreciate that because that's some very constructive feedback. I do have a whole stack of cheap brushes if I want to use, but currently I'm trying to. The little brush seems to give me a little bit more control with getting paint in areas, and it doesn't really bother me to be going back and forth a great deal because so it happens. It's one of those shit happen types of things. So, but as I said, feedback is greatly appreciated because we are always learning about new techniques when we paint. So there we go. They're done. Actually thinking about that, I will continue on with the rest of these. Suits while I'm actually going because I've got 2 more to do. So seeing as we're not really going to be getting black panel liner in these areas because that's not where we're going to go with it, getting these guys painted in this section will actually save me a hell of a lot of time if I do it right now. Well, I've got the model in 2 halves. Just make it easy. I'm been building a riptide as well. He is almost done in terms of, I think it needs 1 more prime session. I need to find a day where it's not raining at the moment and slightly warm enough that I can actually just prime the last bits and pieces of that model so that I can get into dry brushing and panel line and whatnot, and then it'll be a big, extra big chunk to the army. 190 points for a riptide. So given the fact that after the 5-man vespid team, which I have more of them built so I can go and take 2 lots of 5 men if I wanted to. I'd be down to only needing a couple of hundred, maybe 100 or so points out of our. Also, once these are done, I think we're going to be very close to just a vespid stingwing squad maybe that will fill the void for the last amount of points in terms of the army. So we're almost completely done, and we've got a few weeks to go still, which is good. That being, it is in the first weekend of September when Bendigo Open is on. So I'll hopefully, I have other models that I can tidy up. Piranha, Devilfish, I think, is two things that are in the back catalogue currently that will come to the forefront. Maybe this weekend, actually, I might actually get them out and start working on them for the purpose of as backup minis, just in case. That being that, you know, when breaches jump out of a devilfish, they're actually quite a little bit more dangerous through their disembarkation rules. So that would be a little bit fun. And the piranha obviously provides another ability to use the old marker light system. Scout, you know, provide someone with increased shooting capabilities, and that will also be very handy. I'm also kind of in the midst of putting together another broadside. I've got two completed, but I've got this feeling, suspicion that I think I'm going to want three, and so I'm readying one. Currently all the legs are all together again, so once I can get that built and finished, I can move into, but also need a good day to be able to prime that sucker. But that being said, I think I'm going to have once a few other bits, once I get this lot of crisis suits done, there is one more lot, and then there's another commander I can build, so I can really go into Ratcon with a different list again, slightly probably a little bit more aggressive, running the three broadsides, all singly, with the ability to, you know, just they fill up smaller spaces when you run them, so people will be thinking, oh yeah, I've got to screen out three broadsides, they're a single unit, and surprise, surprise, no guys, they are not. I'm running them singly for the purpose of the fact that I need a hell of a lot less room to get a single broadside down than I do really getting three down. So Frost Earth can go away now. We'll clean this brush off because it needs to be done. Whoop. Took out a vespid. As you can see, they are complete. Rims have been done. Bases are done. We'll just stick some flowers on there once the black and the frosting of the base is complete. This guy also is just having the last of the base touched up before I go into the frosting. And he's got his wings glued back on, so he's almost done as well. So here we are, we're back. Can wait. Looks like we might go into panel lining because it looks like that's going to be the next thing we're going to be up to. So we'll work on the legs. We'll start with the legs and arms of these. We'll get some, oh look at that, some were prepared earlier. Lovely. Some things ready. I don't need glasses on anymore because I'm not exactly painting. But we get this in, get the panel liner on, and as you can see, it actually smells quite more than I was in. I forgot how much it smelled. It's very very potent, the panel liner. And we just clean off the excess there, and we will just run a bit more in the and over the back, as long as you guys can see. But oh, it's too much on there, way too much. Again, just in there, and in there. So one lot of logs done, one lot of legs done. I'll get some more paint on the panel lining on the, and here we go, bang. And this one here, as you can see, is actually the commander. Got the special, get in there. It's got the special leg guards, a little bit different to the others. Spin him around. I need some more juice on there. There we go. Oop, oh, it's too much. And then around there, but we need to just drain off some of that. 2 legs down, and now it's on to arms. So this is, it gets a little trickier. Because stuff doesn't really want to go where you want to sometimes. So like if you poke it in a certain spot, it'll then go, oh no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go somewhere else. So in there, and then in here. One arm done, one normal arm done. Just get the, there we go. Let me spin it over. And the fingers, and the 2 little grooves there and in there, and then around here. 2 arms done, and then we're looking at this these guns here, and I'm going to have to do the same thing as the last one because I made a mistake, which is I'm going to have to paint the whole barrel, which is a pain in the rear end because that was not ever the plan. But given that we're currently at this point right now, which I will say makes life a little bit easier. There we go. So panel lining on those 2 sections are done, those legs, those arms. That makes that a little easier, a little quicker, a little sorted out. I am going to now move into finding another something to carry. There we go. Oh, okay, there we go. Forgot about these things. To then be able to jump back in, grab the glasses, and everything looks dry on that. I'm done, so we're just going to grab the, what's the skeleton was what we want. The rattling grind, which is just there. Move that back to the side. And I'm going to go with the big brush. I'll just get some water up, make sure it's okay. She's a bit playing up at the moment. I'm just going to go in, and because we are going to be very careful, unintentionally try not to get the skull there with the rattling grime, because that's not the point. The point is to get everywhere else bar the skull with this, and obviously not the feet. We'll get back in. Just go around very carefully. I don't exactly want to get it all over that. In the back here, it's not going to matter. I'm really going to hit this back chunk of dirt, which is the point of it. Just run it all the way down and along there. And so much so, just keep getting this sorted. Off there. We swing back around and we just try and fill in the rest of this without really, again, this is very slapdash for me. I'm just trying to get this stuff done so I can move on to the next part of the project, because I am ready to do the next thing and have these guys done and completed. And it gives me a bit of a, every time I complete something, it's important because it gives you that sense, that satisfaction feeling of, okay, this is done. So rattling grime is now done on that. Let's clean the brush off, and we probably have to go in with a little brush and try and get it off. Which little brushes there, get it off the skull per se, because you don't want the rattling grime on the skull. We may be a little late. We've gotten too much on there already to really make a difference. Some more water. I'm going to try and get it off, but it's not. Oh, it's okay. And put some more Wraith bone on that, just to try and, oh god. Shake what your mother gave you. Bit of the old TV rock. Is this the same colour? If not, it's fucking close enough. There we go. That'll do. Good enough is close enough. So section done. Look, we got some, this might be dry enough to actually go back to the panel lining, which is really what we're trying to do. And currently, we've got a decent sized video going here, so let's just get into a little bit more of it. Start on this far side. That's one thing I forgot to do on that. So another reason why I brought that broadside back, that crisis suit back, is I have not, for the life of me, remembered to paint the what looks like screws on his body. I've forgotten to paint them. So I need to get in there, get the lead belcher out and do that, so that I've actually got colour on the model where I wanted it, because that's a pain in the rear end to have forgotten that. Slightly frustrating, but I did it and I thought, yep, no worries, I've finished. But no, here we are, we have something we have forgotten, which I will say, all good painters forget stuff. I'm just going to say that, just to make myself feel better. I know I'm not the greatest of painters. Definitely am just having a laugh, having some fun, and trying my hardest to get shit done, which I know is not really going the way I want it to some days, but I will say that is the way the cookie crumbles. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Let me just get the wobbly. Let me spin around. I'm just going to get this back section. And we'll take this one and we just try and pull some of that off where I've made a little bit of a boo-boo. Apart from that, for once, half decent job of getting panel lining completed without making too much of a, well, butchering it, shit out of it too much. Which is normally what happens. I butcher the absolute bejeebers out of it. And I feel like a twat. That's the head. Huh. Well, I'll be. Well, I got 1, Two heads the same over there. So why am I... I don't know. Silly little me has gone and fucking gotten the incorrect crisis suits freaking dry brushed, which is probably fine. It just means I've got to dry brush another body, upper body. You know, the old lieutenant, get him happy. Captain, everybody, wherever they are. Tear a little bit different, so they're not quite the same as others. I don't have all of that, you know, retinue of people all the time. There's not always a, they call different things. Says V's and says V's, and so just to make sure that I've got all of the correct doodads, I have to make sure I actually know that I've got the wrong, one of the wrong models dry brushed, which is fine. As I said, it's quite a simple fix. All I have to do is dry brush an upper body, which, to be honest, is probably one of the easier things I would rather be doing to make sure I've got the right models for what I'm trying to do. Jesus, that's what always happens accidentally. I get 5 litres of that stuff in there, but apart from 2 spots, and 2, oh god, again with the excess. There we go, 2 bodies done, but I do actually have to dry brush. Well, I'm just going to skip the dry brushing, to be honest. Kind of infuriated me now that I made a mistake, so I'm just going to, I should probably just panel line these, get this panel lining done. Because quite soon I'm going to go and watch some to be honest, some Formula One, because the sprint race will be on in Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, which will be great because the one and only Oscar Piastri is on pole, which is hilarious. It will be shitting his counterpart and teammate up the wall, Lando Norris, up the wall, that once again Oscar has outperformed him. And what he really needs to do is get that big fat W, get the win, take the 8 points. Hopefully Lando doesn't manage to overtake him or finish higher or do anything like that, because if that happens, then it's going to be a slight pain in the rear end, but you know, it is what it is. Get that off there. Another upper body done. That leaves us with a few bits and pieces, but look, I'm going to call it quits right now because I'm going to go and glue this piece down onto the back of Old Mate China, and then I'll be able to do the basing like I've done here, as you can see, and then do the rim, and we'll be a whole squad down. And as far as I'm concerned, it's actually kind of putting me in a good position for completing the army. I need to double check how much I've got left to print, to paint and glue, but yeah, there we go. Next video we'll work more on these crisis suits and start painting bits black and get ready to start looking at edge highlighting on the engines, maybe a little bit of a white wash through them to try and thin it down slightly, just to give them something else, you know, a bit of white, make it look like that they're glowing. But yeah, that's all from me, and see you in the next one. Bye guys.